All right, we're back at it again. We're going to talk about constant rate of change and constant proportionality. As I've said before, these are just fancy ways to say that this is unit rate. And it sounds like these words are they've just got a lot to them, but once you really start practicing with them and you kind of understand what they mean, they're not really that different, and it'll be easier. It should make a little more sense now that we've been doing it for a while. So I'm going to start with constant rate of change, and all that means is that something is moving at a constant rate. If I buy one thing and it's $2, if I buy two things, it's $4. If I buy three things, it's $6. So it's moving at a constant rate. Every time I buy one more, I spend $2 more. So that is what constant rate of change and constant proportionality means. Constant rate of change has a y-intercept. Okay. Constant proportionality does not have a y-intercept. That means that 0, 0 is our origin, and 0, 0 does not belong. It does not belong to x or y. It does not belong to either one of those axes. It means that I'm standing right in the middle of the graph and I can't go anywhere. That is all it means. So if you want something easy to remember, if you have a graph, or if you have a table, or if you have a line that goes through the origin 0, 0, it will always be proportional. So your graph would look like this. And it's going to go right through the center. It could go that way. It could go that way. Those are the ways that it could go. If a line goes through any other point on the graph, like that, oops, I just did not mean to do that. If it goes through any other point, like that, like that, like that, but it never, ever, ever goes through the center, then it's a constant rate of change. So let's talk about constant rate of change and constant proportionality. You have a formula that's y equals mx plus b, and actually it's an equation. That letter m tells you the steepness of your line. You've been working with these for a very, very long time. You just didn't know that it was called the steepness of a line when you were working with unit rate. So the way you find m is you get your change in y over your change in x. That is also your constant rate of change, your constant of proportionality. It's several different things. Don't let this k throw you off. That k, all it means is how you find slope. And right now we're not working with slope. We're not talking about slope. We're just talking about this equation right now, which is the slope-intercept form equation, but we're not trying to find slope. We're just trying to find the equation. In 8th grade, you will work with finding the slope of a line. All right, let's kind of dig into this because I think it'll make a little more sense if we do that. Okay, so let's start with this. Apples cost 65 cents per pound. That means they are 65 cents per pound. So that fraction bar also means per now. So when we're working with unit rate, we would find out that 65 cents, that if I buy one thing, it is 65 cents. So if I bought two of them, I would spend $1.30. If I bought three of them, I would spend $1.95. If I bought 4 of them, I would spend $2.60. So I'm going to stop right there. So if you look at what we just did right there, I just found my X and my Y. For every 65 cents, I'm going to get I'm going to get one more apple. So this little table right here, that is your table. So it's unit rate. And when you read these questions, apples cost 65 cents per pound. This line right here means per. And that's how you remember that. All right, so now we're going to, now that we've got our table, the question is does it have a constant rate of change? Well, a constant rate of change means that it has a y-intercept. So it does not cross through 0, 0. All right, well, how do I know that? Well, here's how you figure it out. The change in y, we're adding 1 each time. The change in x, we're adding 65 cents. So if I ask myself, if I buy 0 apples, I'm going to spend $0. Well, that goes through 0, 0. So it can't be a constant rate of change. But a constant of proportionality means that it goes through 0, 0. So since I have 2 zeros there, this table and this line have a constant of proportionality. So you don't have anything on the constant rate of change, but you do have a constant of proportionality. Now the letter K, I told you a while ago, K and M are the same thing. We just have to, in math, we throw out letters and things that just confuse everybody. But what you need to remember is that K and M are the same thing. Well, to find M, I have to find my change in Y over my change in X, which you already did. The Y table was moving by 1, and the X table was moving by 65 cents. So your equation is Y equals 1 over 65x. There is no y-intercept because it goes through 0, 0. So you don't have a b in this question. So when x equals 0, y equals 0. So that means this has no y-intercept. All right, so if we create a graph down here, let's talk about the cost is 65 cents. And that, oops, I'm sorry, that's the cost. Okay, so the cost is, and this is the quantity. So that means for every 1, 65 cents. So if I bought 0, I'm going to spend 0. And then I could draw my graph. For 2, it's $1. I can just plot my points on the graph. This goes through 0, 0, and that's how you know it's a constant of proportionality. All right, let's go to the second one. Second one is 2 packs of Skittles have a total of 36 Skittles. So for every bag of Skittles, Every 2 packs, I have 36. So if I have 4 packs, I have 36 again, right? I'm increasing by 36. So that's 72. If I have, not equals. If I have 6 packs, I have another 36. That's 108. If I have 8 packs, it's 144. So we're increasing by 36 each time. So let's go ahead and draw our table. Well, look at that. We've already got our stuff. We've got our X's and our Y's. That's our X. So for every 36, I get 2 packages. For every 72, there's 4 packages. So it's increasing. The bottom is the Y is increasing by 2. And the top is increasing by 36. Okay. So let's figure out what M equals. Remember what I said, M is the change in Y over the change in X. And the reason why we're looking for M is because the equation is Y equals MX plus B. And you're trying to figure out, okay, what numbers go in there? So we're finding the change in Y, which is 2, and the change in X, which is 36. I can simplify that. And that becomes sorry, I'm having a little brain moment here. 1/18. So for every 1, I'm gonna have 18 Skittles. For every 2, I'm gonna have 36. For every 4 bags, I'm gonna have 72, and so on and so on. So my equation, Y equals 1/18 X. Well, if I don't buy any bags of Skittles, how many am I going to have? I'm going to have 0. So this is another one of those that goes through 0, 0. If I don't buy any, I'm not going to spend any, which means that it's a constant of proportionality because it goes through the origin. And there is no y-intercept. So this is your equation. It does have a constant rate of change, but this one actually has a constant proportionality because it's going through 0, 0. We've written the equation here. That is my y equals 1/18 x. It goes through 0, 0, so yes, it's proportional. And if I were to graph this, for every 1 bag of Skittles, I'm going to get 18 Skittles, and so on and so on. I hope this is starting to make a little bit of sense. Let's go to this last one here. All right, this last one. Bob walked 4 miles in 8 hours. What is his rate in miles per hour? Well, we're looking for unit rate, miles per hour. So I wrote this as a fraction, 4 miles in 8 hours. So this is my x, this is my y. So if I go 8 miles, I go 16. If I'm 8 hours out, I go 4 miles. If I am 16 hours, I go 8 miles. If I go 12, I am I'm going up by 24. And so on and so on. So that's a 6. That's a 16, guys. And it's a very ugly 16. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm increasing by 4 each time. I'm increasing by 8. To find m, I do my change in y over my change in x. My y is changing by 8. My x is changing by 4. When I simplify those out, I can divide both by 4. I get 2. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. When I simplify that, I get 2. So my m equals 2. So if I'm going to write my equation, write the equation with the letters first and then plug in the numbers. Y equals 2x. And then this is another logical one. If he doesn't walk at all, how many hours is that going to take him? It would be 0. So this is a constant of proportionality. It goes through 0, 0. It does not cross the y-axis. So when x is 0, y is 0, so that makes it a constant of proportionality, which means that it's proportional. Your equation is y equals 2x. It's got a constant rate of change of 2, and you could fill in that table, which we did right up here. I hope you guys kind of understand a little bit of this. This will help you with your assignment today.